Welcome back to my happy place, which is what I call my craft room. I got some new stuff in the mail that I'm excited to play with, so I'm going to share that with you today as we go through whether I make a card or a hot pile of garbage. Today I have Catherine Pooler's Welcome Wreath dies, and I had pre-cut the snippies off because I don't think you need to watch me do that. Everyone knows how to use a tin snip. I also recently acquired the Starry Scallops cover plate. This one's going to be fun to play with. It's got a lot of possibilities. I've recently been inspired by seeing a lot of people do white over ivory. So I am going to try and do a background today using that technique. I'm usually way colorful person, but I really like the subtlety of white and ivory. I think it's very elegant. And so that is what we're going to do today. So I have pulled a ivory panel for my background. And I am going to go to my die cut machine and punch out this cover plate to create an instant background. I'm excited to see how this comes out. Get the tape off of it. All right, I will be back. All right. So truth be told, I had to run that through a couple of times. There's so much detail to punch out, but I think we got a clean cut. I am going to grab my poker and over my trash can, punch out all these little stars so that we have the big reveal. Okay, well, truth be told, that took me a little while. My feedback for that cover plate is probably don't use it with your heaviest cardstock. I'm using what is this? The Nina 110-pound Solar White, and it punched through pretty cleanly. I mean, it looks nice. I did have to run it through the die cut machine a couple of times, and I'm happy with the thickness of it now, but I think to get like a good clean punch on your first try, maybe use an 80-pound cardstock instead. But we're going to press on. I'm going to double up this with the ivory and show you how elegant that is. That would be a beautiful background for like a wedding card. And I think you could use pretty much any cover plate that has like this peekaboo kind of pattern, like a lattice, polka dots, basket weave, just very pretty and easy to create very quickly. All right, so I am just gonna pull the trigger and glue that down onto each other. That should be enough glue. All right, I line my stuff up a little differently than most people. I like to stand it up and let the edge of my glass board tell me when it is lined up. And as long as I've cut my cardstock properly, it usually works out pretty good. Boy, that really wants to pop up. Let's put them in the corners. Give that a good press. Give that a second to stick down. Now I have picked out this die set that I just got. It is the Welcome Wreath die from Catherine Pooler. And there is a cardinal in here, which is, I just love birds. I love putting them together in die cuts because you can go with any color you want. There's actually a little sparrow in here too, which is super cute, and I can't wait to play with him as well. But today we are going to play with, I think I'm going to use this nice leafy wreath. And, uh-oh, where's my cardinal? Eagle. Did I just had him? Oh, he's stuck to the back of this magnet. Thank goodness. Yeah, I love cardinals, and he kind of punches out all in one piece, except for the wing. So I think I'm gonna punch him all out in white and color him in instead of trying to put little pieces together, because it doesn't look like the face comes out at all. So I can just take a little pen and make that black and a little tiny beak. So I will be back with that. I better put all these little tiny pieces away before I lose them again. And by the time I get back, this should be dry. Okay, coming back. All right, here's my little birdie. Isn't he sweet? I just love it. He will come out sans wing. There we go. And this should be ready for me to set aside. I'll put that up there. All right. I'll let you get a closer look at the little birdie. See his little face. I can tell there's quite tiny little details. And also on the wing too. It's just got tiny little feathers. So I'm going to grab my grip knot because he's going to be hard to hang on to. Stick that down. Stick that down there. I have chosen cranberry for the wing, poppy for his body, and sunflower for his beak. I think those are good cardinal colors. He could also be a really cute blue jay if you wanted to make him blue. They have the crown as well, very similar to cardinal. Okay, so I have these tiny little detail fine tip. I don't know, they're not a Q-tip, but they're not a brush either. Somewhere in the middle from Hero Arts. Let's see if I can find what they're actually called. Mini watercolor brushes. I absolutely love these, and I'm hoping I can find more. I haven't seen them in stores recently. I bought a big pack a long time ago, and I used them for details like this when you have to get just the little beak, because you can't really ink blend with a brush when you're doing those tiny little things. And I have colors that I keep on hand so that I don't run out of these brushes. I just kind of like with the ink blending brushes, like the big ones, you just kind of use that one. You have one for yellow and you kind of hang on to them. So I'm going to start with this tiny little beak. Should not be a whole lot to it. I'm going to start where the emboss is from the die cutting. And just work my way out. There. Nice little yellow beak in sunflower. Okay. So for the face, I didn't want to go jet black. I am going to go... I'm probably going to grab a new one, actually, because my black brush is black, and I want to go with Black Jack from Catherine Pooler. It is a really nice gray. It is not too dark. It is not too light. It's right there in the middle. And again, I'm going to start where the embossing starts from the die cutting and color my way out. I know it's going to start out kind of streaky, but as we keep coloring, it fills in. Seeing the darn thing is the challenge because it's so tiny. Here's where I need to get carefully around that beak so that the black and the yellow don't mix too much here. Just want to get the white edges. Yellow again. Fill in that little bit of white space. There. I'm happy with that. I might have to color in a little bit more around the face once I get the red on, but I think for now, I don't want to go too finely into the detail or I'm going to end up smudging the whole thing, which I have been known to do. Again, I'm going to take a dauber. I've got poppy and I've got cranberry. And I'm just going to pounce some color on because I want to keep the detail of that wing. I want the little feathers to still show through. I'm not sure if you can pick that up on camera here. Let me get my pokey tool. All right. I don't know if that's easier to see, but there's tiny little feathers on that wing. So if we go too hard, we might fill that in and it won't show through as much, but just pounced a little bit of color on. I'm going to get out a red one of these because when we get close to the face, I'm not going to want to pounce. I'm going to just draw it in there. I should mention that these little ink cubes that I'm using are for Concord and 9. They're really nice inks to work with. They dry back, so nothing stays blotchy. Okay, I am actually going to pick up that birdie and try and color in his face closer to my eyes because I am not wearing readers at the moment, and I should be for something this tiny and intricate. It's also nice to use your fingers so that you can move the image along with. I'm happy with that for now. I think if I keep fussing, I'm just going to end up sliding into the hot garbage range. So we're just going to call it good. So I'm going to quick clean up this mess. He's stuck on there. All right. Take the cardinal out of the blast zone. This is just plain water. Now I did use red dye ink, so it is going to stain my mat, which is totally fine. It won't be the first and it won't be the last. Voila. Let's put daubers down. I think we can put away my little brushes. Okay, so because I know me, I am going to peel off a tiny bit of tape and I am going to put it behind this wing. As invisible as I possibly can. Like so. And then I'm going to bring my little wing in and stick him down right now. That way, I'm not frantically looking for a wing in a few minutes. Okay, birdie, you can set right there. All right, so far we have our background and we have our birdie. So we need something for the birdie to sit on. So I think what I'm going to do is I really like this vine instead of the heavy wreath. I kind of like the leafiness of this. And I think I'm going to do it in some fall colors. I'm going to probably do some spice cider from Concord and 9th and some stardust. I think those go together very nicely with the cranberry red, and it's also very fall-y colors. So I'm going to grab that, and I think I kind of like this wheat. It kind of looks like wheat. I'm sure it's some other type of leaf. Come on down. You're the next contestant. There we go. I'm trying not to poke myself with those little wires that stick out after you snip everything apart. We don't need blood. Cardinal's already red. Okay, I'm going to go to my die cut machine and bring back some wreath. All right, so off camera, I die cut this twice, and I die cut this twice. This one, I still need to poke out some of the stuff, so I will do that off camera. Okay. So off camera, I punched out all the little leaves, and I am just blown away by how beautiful this set is. I have seen some YouTube videos on it being used, but I didn't realize that in person it would be so delicate and wispy. It is a very beautiful image. So here's what we could do. Make a wreath. So what's frustrating is I would love to be able to do down at the bottom, have the wheat go both ways, but what if we did half of the wreath and added to it that way? Yeah, I'm kind of liking that. I like the idea too that I can stack these two together to give it a little bit more thickness so that it's not quite as wispy, but still just as delicate. So we can stack those together. Yeah. Okay. I think I will do that. I think I like the half wreath better. I don't want anything to go to waste, so I'm going to just go ahead and use both die cuts. I'll really have it kind of stand up on the page too. This is probably going to get a little messy because there's not a lot to this little vine. So we're going to have some glue popping out, I'm sure. But it's all good. Okay, here comes the tricky part. We've got to lay these down right on top of each other that they look like one thicker piece. And I kind of just pinch it with my fingers, and my fingertips usually take away most of the excess glue. Just kind of get it in there. Okay. So I'm going to give that a press to make sure the layers stick to each other properly. And I think I'm going to come in with a little more color. This is right now Stardust. And I think what I want to grab is with an olive ink from Catherine Pooler. Now I have Stardust ink, and tone on tone with the paper and the ink goes very nicely. It'll make it a little darker, but I want to give it just a very tiny, subtle shadow. So I'm going to grab a brush. I'm going to just kind of go up the bottom. I'm going to just go halfway. Start dark at the tip and go a little lighter hand towards the middle. Now these two colors side by side are so similar, so I knew it wouldn't be a huge dramatic difference, but a big enough one that you can see there's a little touch of extra to it. Yeah, I like that. Those two go very well together. Get the ink off the glass mat so I don't have that all over me. Okay. So now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking it needs something more. Well, I love the white on ivory background. I guess I'm more of a drama girl. I like a little more pop of color. And so instead of changing the background, I think what I'm going to do is I have these new ovals. I use the stitched rectangle from Pinkfresh so much. It's like my go-to that I finally ordered the ovals, and I'm really excited to play with those too. So I'm going to go find a really bold color to punch out an oval to give this card just a little bit more of a pop to it. I'm thinking I'm thinking the second size down. That'll still show through. Well, let me just see what the third one down. I don't want to cover up that beautiful bat. Oh, that's gonna be too tiny. Yeah. Second one down. I'm gonna go find a color. All right. So I went through all of my color scraps and I landed on Peacock from Concord or 9th. I think this is a beautiful color. It is bold, but it is not like deep navy bold or bright red or green bold. I think this is a nice fall color too. It'll complement these other ones. And comes in, sits on his perch. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Now we have to figure out what kind of card is this? I need a sentiment. And I'm thinking something kind of hand-drawn, scrolly, to keep the the vibe of this card kind of, I don't know, more girly, I guess. I think I'm gonna do a thank you card because we always need to grab those in a hurry, and I like to have a lot on hand. So I'm gonna go through my stash and figure out where I have a nice scripty thank you. Okay, coming back. All right, so in my stash from Winter Retreat last year from Concord in 9th, I have the Tuscan Arch stamps and dies. And this is a really fun set. And it has a very cute, scripty thanks. Yes. Which is what I was hoping for. It's just like that handwritten thanks. And truth be told, it's a little big for the arch, but I think if I die cut it a couple of times and give it dimension, it'll stand out and it'll be nice above, kind of going through the wreath and over the edges. I'm gonna give it a try, and I think I'm gonna introduce some metallic in this sentiment. Because of the dark colors, I think I can get away with a nice, I'm probably going to use champagne from Concord in 9th. It's not really gold, it's not really silver, it's somewhere just shiny and metallic and in between. It doesn't have that harshness that gold is. So I'm going to go do that. Okay, so I have die cut out. 1 in champagne and 2 more in just some white scraps that I keep over by my die cut machine to grab when I need just little pieces like this. All right, so now we assemble our sentiment. Right. Little tricky with these scripty dies because there's a lot of little swoop-de-doos in it. But with the magic of liquid glue and a little bit of wiggle room, and a little chunkiness. Again, I kind of pinch with the meat of my fingers to get out all the glue. Okay, 1 more layer. Okay, top layer time. This is usually the spot where it either is going to be on my card or I glue it completely off kilter and it becomes hot garbage. And I can always cut out another one. It's not a big deal. I try not to get too much glue on the shiny side because that will definitely show. I think that is as close as we're going to get. And honestly, it's good enough. There's no like weird shadow or anything on there. I mean, these can be tricky just because of all the swoop-de-doos, but I think we got it. Okay. Cute, cute. All right, so let's assemble this. Let's get her going. I am going to glue this oval directly onto the card back here because I think I want to give the dimension in the leaves and with the bird. The background can just stay in the background. My goodness, I'm running out of glue. Okay, that should be good. I want to pop her down right in the middle. Just kind of easy to tell because of the row of circles. I'm just aiming for the bottom of this row and the bottom of this row. And then, yeah, it kind of frames it really easily so you can see where dead center is. We are tangled up. There we go. I'm struggling to get glue on these tiny little leaves. They're so thin. Let's see. We got on top here. Okay. So I want this to kind of come around like that. Some of this excess glue off. And that will dry clear too. You don't really see it. Okay. Now for these, I think I'm just gonna glue just down the base of it. I do want some of these leaves to still stand up a bit. Try and give the card a little life. Push it up a little bit. Now for our little birdie, I want him to pop up. I think Portlandia had it right when they said, you can put a bird on it. Everything's better with a bird on it. I have these tiny little adhesive foam dots. It's from Hobby Lobby, but they come in all different sizes. And these little ones are perfect for tiny, tiny little images like this. Okay, I'll put my little birdie on his perch right there. That's adorable. Loving the little birdie. All right, and because this is already super thick from being a couple of layers, I don't think it needs any foam dots. I think we're just gonna glue it right onto the card. I'll stick that kind of behind that leaf. Right in the center. I kind of like how it comes off of the oval a little bit on each side. Maybe up just okay. So I'm still feeling like there's a lot of empty space right in these areas. So I always like to head for my enamel dots. And I have Concord and 9th Gold, which is a little more gold than the champagne, but I think they will complement each other very well. Let's put a couple down. We can always pick them back up if we don't like them. They don't stick down right away. Let's see, we've got large. Don't like having even numbers. Although that looks really cute, but let's see what one more small up here, maybe on the side. Yeah, I like that. That fills in all of this kind of empty space. Okay. So I think that's where I'm gonna end it, because if I keep going, then I'll just get too busy and then I'll be weird. And then it'll be a pile of hot garbage. So all I need to do is put this on a card base and it is ready to be given to the next person who deserves a thank you. So thank you for coming along with me on this card. If you liked it, please like and subscribe my channel. I plan to make more videos and I want everyone to come along with me on the ride. It is usually a bit of a roller coaster, but we have come out with a beautiful card at the end. So thank you for joining me. Goodbye.